And how many people have died in Gaza in the last 2 months?
How many bomb shelters are there? How many bomb shelters are there? How many bomb shelters are there in Gaza?
Mate, there aren't any houses.
They built thousands.
Alright, so in this video, you're going to see what happens when a shocking conspiracy theory stated as fact is called out on live radio. This caller called James with a stunning accusation against the UN, but he wasn't prepared for the simple question James would ask him again and again and again. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the like and subscribe buttons. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss a video. Now let's watch this together and then I'll give my thoughts at the end.
Neil is in Stanmore. Neil, what would you like to say?
Morning, James. How many rockets have been fired into Israel from Gaza?
I don't know.
Okay, that's 11,500.
How many civilians have died?
They haven't died because over the last 16 years, while Hamas have been firing rockets into Israel and carrying out suicide bombings and attacks on civilians.
Listen, it's a simple call. I'm just looking for a number.
They've developed...
I'm just looking for the number, Neil.
Very few is the answer, because
I think is it not none?
Systems. No, there have been, of course, there have been injuries, of course, there have been deaths.
By missile? I know there was a suicide attack at a bus stop, but single figures?
It probably is single figures.
And how many people have died in Gaza in the last 2 months?
How many bomb shelters are there? How many bomb shelters are there? How many bomb shelters are there in Gaza?
Mate, there aren't any houses.
They've built thousands. There
aren't any houses in Gaza. How can you have a bomb shelter if you haven't got a house to put it under?
Because they have hundreds of miles of tunnels that have been dug by Hamas.
What is the reason for your call? Because what we've established so far is that there are between 10 and 20,000 deaths on one side and single figures deaths on the other. So where do we go from here?
Where do we go from here? So where we go?
You rang me, remember?
Yes, I did. Israel is, well, firstly, they are trying to wipe out the tunnel networks that Hamas have built with the assistance of the United Nations, who've allowed them to divert funds and building materials. Okay, to build.
Right, and your source for that?
They are there. That's what the Israelis.
No, your source for the allegation against the United Nations.
No, everyone knows that there are tunnels.
Oh, come on, mate.
Gaza.
Your source for the United Nations collusion in that.
Well, my opinion.
No, your source.
My source.
Yes. I have to challenge you because the caller here said that if Al Jazeera is a source, I have to challenge people. So I can't accept Neil in Stanmore as a source on something, can I?
Okay, I have various websites, not websites, I have news information sites that are showing me that the entrances to tunnels...
No, specifically the United Nations collusion. Where can I look for that?
Where can you look for that? That's going to be a bit difficult for me to...
Well, then don't say it on the radio, Neil, please.
It's my opinion.
No, you have to say it's your opinion. You stated it as a fact. It's your opinion based on absolutely no evidence whatsoever.
Okay, all right, so let's look at the United Nations.
Before we move on, can we just agree that you said that with no evidence or basis in truth for it at all?
It is stuff that I've seen, but I can't necessarily provide the...
So there is evidence, but it goes to a different school?
Yes.
Okay, mate, you crack on.
Okay, so we have the United Nations who had this vote. Okay, so first of all, we have a situation in Syria a few years ago.
No, you're doing it again. Let's just focus on... No, I won't hang on, Neil, because we've already established that you're a bad faith caller, so you're lucky that you're still on. Let's focus on exactly what happened on Friday. Let's not talk about what happened somewhere else several years ago.
But it's relevant.
No, it's not. I want to know what happened on Friday.
Right, you said Britain abstained and America vetoed.
Mm-hmm.
Russia vetoed in Syria, where there were hundreds of thousands.
And the international uproar was enormous.
Was it?
Yes, it was. Sources: BBC, ITV, Sky, LBC. You crack on.
Well, I think that's limited. But the score is Gutierrez has only ever done this once. He hasn't done it in any other conflict that's taken place in trying to stop a war that's taking place.
Because he's never felt that the need for a ceasefire was so obvious and acute.
500,000 people in Syria wasn't.
Yes, well, if we were to add up people being killed on both sides, like we did at the beginning of your call, the definition of war would apply because they were killing each other on an enormous scale. So again, that doesn't work. Okay, here's a question: why did Switzerland vote for a ceasefire?
Don't know.
The most famously neutral country in history.
I have no idea why they chose to vote.
Why did Japan?
Don't know. I'm not there. I'm not in those countries.
Why did Ecuador?
What they think. Ecuador, because they are particularly holed up with most of the groups that are very anti-Israel.
Source?
Again, I would... I have my reasons and beliefs and what I've seen.
So, I mean, everyone does at Christmas. What are your sources?
As I say, I have access to news sites that...
No, the source for Ecuador being holed up with various groups. Not the source for the United Nations colluding with Hamas building tunnels in the Gaza Strip, because we've established you didn't have any. What's the source for the claim about Ecuador?
Again, just what I've seen from United Nations voting systems over...
But you told me they've never had a vote like this before. You said that 45 seconds ago.
There are votes the whole time.
So what was the Ecuador vote that you're drawing on now?
Specifically on now?
Yes.
No, I'm just saying that in general, in the past...
Well, give me one example then.
They voted against Israel. I can't pluck off the top of my head.
Well, then you can't say it out loud, can you?
But there are facts. You can look on the United Nations website.
I'm asking you to tell me the facts that you're referring to.
Well,
and how is calling for a ceasefire and an immediate return of all the Israeli hostages a vote against Israel?
How is it a vote against Israel? Because it's not allowing them to finish what they need to do, which is to demolish the tunnels that exist and the infrastructure of Hamas, who, for the last 16 years...
Yeah, so we're back there. Do you want to speculate on why Switzerland voted for the ceasefire? Because you have enormous levels of certainty built on absolutely nothing, so it's a bit odd when you say you don't know something. Do your sources not have anything on this? The news sites that you can't remember, or the Ecuadorian precedents that have slipped your mind, do none of them have any insights into why the most famously neutral country on the planet would vote for a humanitarian ceasefire?
Nope.
Nothing at all?
No, I can look it up.
And when you hang up in a minute, or when I bid you farewell because it's the news, the fact that every single thing you've said has absolutely fallen apart and crumbled won't have dented your certainty one iota, will it?
Nope.
About anything?
Nope.
And if I ask you how many people in Gaza have to die before it becomes too many, you will say...
I don't know, because it's...
You do know, Neil. You're Mr. I know it all, man. You must know. Come on.
I don't want any deaths.
Put a number on it.
There isn't.
How many is too many?
I can put on it. There isn't a number I can put on it.
Well, we can say that it's not there yet, can't we? Because is it too many already? Or should they carry on?
The answer is they need to carry on.
So it's not too many yet. So it's not too many yet. When will it be too many?
I don't know, but my hope is
that
at some point...
You do know. We both know what your answer to that question is. The only mystery is why you won't say it out loud.
My hope is that the women of Hamas at some point turn around and say, we've had enough. Right, we've had 17 years...
But you're not in control of that. You're in control of your opinions, Neil. You've just spent 10 minutes telling us all about your opinions and pretending that they were facts and evidence-based and knowledge-based. So you're allowed an opinion. In your opinion, we know that whatever the death toll is now is still too low for it to be too much. When does it become too high, in your opinion?
I have no idea what that number is.
You have no idea of your own opinion?
I have no idea of how many deaths there will be. I don't know that. You don't know that. Nobody knows that.
I can say there's been too many already. You can't. When will you?
I did say there's been too many already.
No, you didn't. You said they had to carry on.
I said that
you said everyone heard you. You said they had to carry on. So how many is too many?
I've said there's already been enough. Right, but I can't.
So you are in favour of a ceasefire then?
I'm not in favour of a ceasefire.
So there hasn't been enough. When will there be enough?
We need to stop the fighting. We need to stop the...
That's a ceasefire. Stopping the fighting is a ceasefire, Neil.
We need to stop the terrorist atrocities that have been happening for the last 17 years.
Yes. So how many deaths is too many in Gaza?
There isn't a number.
Well, everyone knows that there is, and you're just not prepared to say it out loud, Neil.
40 million, all right? It doesn't mean anything.
No.
Right?
But if everybody there died, would that be too many?
That is not my belief of what is going to be happening.
So that means that somewhere between now, I'm going to ask this question. Somewhere between now and everybody dead, there would be a line for you that should not be crossed. Why is it so hard for you to tell us where that line is?
Because they need to do what they need to do in terms of destroying Hamas.
So there is no line then?
No.
So everyone?
No, it won't be everyone. But...
Well, fingers crossed, Neil?
Yeah, very much so.
It's 11:01.
Wow, so let's just break down what happened there. The caller Neil made an explosive claim that the UN actively colludes with Hamas to build tunnels. That's not a small allegation. So what does James do? He doesn't yell, he doesn't call him names, he just asks a simple question about his source. And Neil immediately crumbled. He went from stating something as an undeniable fact to admitting that's going to be a bit difficult for me to provide. It's the classic playbook of misinformation. You hear it all the time on LBC, you hear it all the time with regards to the Hamas-Israel war. On both sides, I have to say, and it lives in the space of everyone knows, but evaporates under the slightest scrutiny. The caller then tries to retreat to the defense of, well, that's my opinion. But James correctly points out that he stated it as a fact. And this distinction is everything. Your opinion that a movie is bad is valid, but your opinion that the UN is funding terror groups requires evidence. Without it, it's not opinion, it's a baseless smear. And we know that Israel are masters at propaganda. They have told repeated lies throughout this war. I'm not saying Hamas haven't, but Israel have told repeated, provable lies. But the call didn't end there. James continued to press, exposing contradiction after contradiction. He pivoted from the caller's lack of facts to his lack of basic humanity. And then he asked Neil a devastating question. How many deaths in Gaza are too many? And the caller cannot answer. He says there isn't a number, but simultaneously argues that the military operation must carry on. Think about that. He supports an action that's killing thousands, but cannot or will not name the point at which the human cost becomes unacceptable. And that's the moral black hole at the center of these bad faith arguments. When you don't have facts, and when you've been propagandized into a radical position, as many of the pro-Likud supporters in the UK have, you often lose your humanity too. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons for more, and don't forget to press the notification bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching.